Enough is enough. This Atlanta Braves team has been playing badly for too long now for my liking. It is time for them to get things together. Hopefully that begins this weekend back home against the Boston Red Sox. We'll talk about what happened in LA over the weekend on today's episode of Locked On Braves. So let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, and welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I am your host, Jacob Mastriani. You can follow me on social media at Shortstop of All. Also, make sure you check out the podcast there at LockedOn_Braves. Send in any questions, comments, or feedback that you have for the podcast. Always enjoy hearing from you and letting me know how much you hate this current experience of the Atlanta Braves. It has been a rough one. I certainly do feel you, but thank you so much for continuing to tune in. Thank you so much to all my everydayers out there. If you're an everydayer, let me know down in the comment section below on YouTube. And while you're there on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up button on this video so more people can join us here at Locked On Braves. Today's episode, we'll talk about everything that happened over the weekend in LA. It is also our Minors Monday episode, so I'll let you know what's happening down on the farm. It was much better than what happened up on the big league level this past week. So we'll cover all that in today's episode. Before we do that, though, it is time to tell you about Monopoly Go. We've been telling you about this game for a while. The fast-paced game that lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes like unique stickers for trading, cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends, because who doesn't want to do that? So download Monopoly Go now, free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. It was game on over the weekend, but the Braves didn't quite show up as they got swept by the Los Angeles Dodgers in LA after losing a series in Seattle as well. So they go 1-5 on this 6-game West Coast trip. You knew things could be tough going out there, as the offense, even after winning a series in Cleveland, just didn't really show up. Even going to the series before that against Miami, a series again that they won, offense kind of had their struggles in that one. So you could see it kind of leading into this stretch. And then you go out west facing two more teams with really good pitching staffs, and things just didn't get better. In fact, they got much, much worse for the Atlanta Braves. They only win one game. If you would have told me on this West Coast trip that, they win a series in Seattle, they lose a series in LA, they go 3-3, I would have said that is perfectly fine. For the way this team was playing as they headed out there, the way the offense has been going for a couple of weeks now, I would have certainly taken a 3-3 West Coast trip. To go 1-5, though, it just really hurts. And this is where I tell you it's early in the season. It's the beginning of May. The Braves still have a really good record, all of those things. And I get that. And those are all very, very true. And it's very good things to remember. But we're also living in the moment here. And at the moment, this Braves team is just hard to watch. They're bad. They're playing bad. Again, I'm telling you they're bad right now. I'm not telling you they're going to be bad a month from now, maybe not even a week or two from now. But at this current moment in time, this Braves team is playing very, very poorly. And that's just about as simply as I can put it. They are, at least offensively. The pitching has been getting it done. They have pitched well enough for the Braves to win some of these games. In fact, they're the main reason the Braves have won as many games as they have over the last couple of weeks, because they've been able to keep them in some of these ball games. Now, it was not necessarily the case on Saturday, and still was a little bit of the case on Sunday, although it wasn't Max Fried's best pitch game. He made a mistake early to Ohtani and made another mistake later to Hernandez. But even in between that, I'm not Max Fried threw really well, was able to get through 7 innings. You want to hear more about that game specifically, go check out the postcast from me and Grant McCauley on Locked On at Sports Atlanta or in your Locked On Braves podcast feed. But this series in LA just was not a lot of fun. It certainly was not nearly as fun as the series we had out there at the end of last year, where Acuña just took off, and there were signs of that in this series. Talk more about it. But going into LA, and I talked about this with the Sny Dog from Locked On Dodgers previewing this series, and we both agreed Saturday's game felt like a no-doubter for the Dodgers. Sunday's game felt like a no-doubter win for the Braves. It all was really going to come down to Friday. And it's the game that went to extra innings, a game that, both teams had a chance to win there, but neither one could get it done until the Dodgers got that bloop hit in the 11th inning. Still say Andy Pye has swung there, but either way, we're letting it go. And the Braves lost because the offense just couldn't generate enough. They couldn't score a single run with the top of the order coming up in extra innings and the Manfred runner on second. And they still couldn't score a run. And that's frustrating because that's a game you felt like you win that. You got a chance to win the series with Max Fried on Sunday. They end up losing that one as well. And that's the one that really, I don't want to say hurts, but is a letdown because you had the Braves with Max Fried on the mound, who's your ace and has been pitching really well. And again, I thought he pitched fine on Sunday. And you were going up against James Paxton, who I know the ERA, the numbers look good for James Paxton. The underlying numbers do not look good. You're talking about a below 15% strikeout rate. His walk rate is higher than his strikeout rate. And the Braves made him look like a Cy Young contender on Sunday. That is so frustrating right now, but it's where this offense is at the moment. They can make the worst pitchers look like the best pitchers right now. And you can talk about the fact that over this stretch, they faced some really good pitchers, and that is true. Tyler Glasnow is very good. Gavin Stone has a very good changeup and looked good on Friday. Seattle, obviously, Bryce Miller, Luis Castillo, very good pitchers. Even Cleveland has some good pitchers. That shouldn't have been the case on Sunday. Sunday should have been a win, and the Braves offense just didn't show up. Max Fried made a couple of mistakes, and you just can't make a couple of mistakes right now with the way that this offense is going. Now, you want to look on the bright side maybe a little bit from this weekend. Ronald Acuña Jr. had a big home run on Friday night to tie the game. It was on a fastball up. That was encouraging. And then on Sunday, you're seeing him miss 92, 93 down the middle from James Paxton, and you're thinking, okay, maybe he's not all the way back yet. Now, he did have 3 straight games with multi-hits, and he had a 3-hit game on Saturday. So, again, all that encouraging, and then Sunday happened again, and it seemed like it was back to what we've been seeing from Ronald, which is not great. Same for Riley. He has shown some signs here lately, and even this series, had a couple of RBI hits. I think he had 3 straight games with an RBI hit, and then on Sunday, not much there, although Acuña and Riley did both walk on Sunday, so they at least got on base. But both of those guys, again, trying to spin some sort of positive here, have shown some signs and did show some signs over the weekend and on that trip. And if you get those 2 guys going, you feel pretty good about this offense starting to generate some runs once again. I know nobody wants to hear it from me on Matt Olson right now, but I just got to believe that things are going to turn around. You look at his expected batting average of 257. You're talking about an expected batting average almost 60 points higher than his actual batting average. You're looking at a 370 expected WOBA. You're talking about a guy who continues to hit the ball extremely hard when he's hitting the ball. It's just the results are not there right now. There were a couple of balls on Sunday. The one he hit in the beginning, I thought it was gone off the bat, and he got under it a little too much. He is just missing, but I mean, he is just missing. Had another bat later where he just hit a ball past the foul pole. He did get the hardest hit ball in the game on Sunday and finally got a hit, and that's what it took, was the hardest hit ball of the game. But it's just not coming easy for Matt Olson right now. When he is putting the ball in play, he's either just missing it or he's having some terrible luck with where he's hitting the baseball. Again, I don't want to sit here and just act like I'm making excuses for him, but it really is just unbelievable to see how unlucky he's been to a degree right now with the way things are going. And I still just believe that things will turn around for him. The underlying data all says that right now for Matt Olson. You look at this last 11-game stretch that he's on, it's just a 21% strikeout rate. So he has cut down the strikeouts. It's a 14% walk rate, but it's a 154 batting average on balls in play. I get it. I see the comments. Some of you say you don't care what his BABIP is. You don't care what his expected numbers are. You don't care how hard he's hitting the baseball. But I'm telling you, what else are you supposed to do? You cut your strikeout rate down to just 21%. You continue to put the ball in play and hit the ball really hard when you do, and you're just not getting the results. A 154 batting average on balls in play is ridiculous for a 2-week stretch with how well he has struck some of these baseballs. Things are going to turn around for Matt Olson. I truly, truly believe that. You just got to be patient. right now. And I know that's tough to do when the rest of the offense is struggling the way that he is. And quickly, I want to touch on Bryce Elder, who obviously had a rough start on Saturday. I had people in the comments telling me that he needs to go now. He's not a big league pitcher. He started against the Dodgers twice last year and allowed one run in each of those starts, including one in September when he was fading and when he was struggling. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you he is an all-star, but he is a good fourth or fifth starter. That's what he is. He's going to have outings against teams like the Dodgers who are playing well. Again, sometimes it's when you catch a team. Braves are not playing well. The Dodgers have been playing really good baseball. They had a struggle earlier in the season and they have turned things around, but he's not somebody that's going to be able to dominate a Dodgers lineup when they are functioning at full capacity like they are right now, with Ohtani as hot as he is right now. And he just didn't execute. He left too many pitches up in the zone, and those pitches got absolutely hammered. So Elder's going to continue to stay in this rotation. He's more likely to give you a good start each time out to give this team a chance. But with the way this offense is right now, those chances are not there for this offense because you got to pretty much be perfect. And Elder was not that on Saturday. Again, there's nothing else I can really say at this point other than it's early. It's a 2-week stretch. Things are going to get better. But patience is running out, as I said in the title. I get it in the moment. It's frustrating. You know this team should be better than they're playing right now. You want to see them playing well all year long. And I know you're going to hate the quote from Brian Snitker, but there are ebbs and flows in the season. And the Braves are certainly on one of those lower ebbs or whatever you want to call it right now. Hopefully they're able to come out of it soon because it's been really, really hard to watch right now as an Atlanta Braves fan. It was fun to watch some of the minor league games this past week, and hopefully we get to do more of that this upcoming week with another off day on Thursday happening. But next, we'll go through our Minors Monday segment. I'll tell you about some top pitching prospects for the Braves who maybe are going to come up this year and make a difference. We'll discuss that here next. Are you struggling to close deals? B2B selling is tougher than ever, and that's why I want to tell you about the LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a sales intelligence platform that helps professionals effectively prospect and engage high-volume customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changes or which accounts you should prioritize, and shows you hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations with the people that matter. And right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/lockedon. That's linkedin.com/lockedon for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/lockedon to get started. All right, I've been telling you about the smash hit mobile game Monopoly Go for a while now. And if you've enjoyed it, let me know down in the comment section below. I've had several of you already tell me how much that you love Monopoly Go. So if you haven't tried it yet, maybe join up on a team with a bunch of Braves listeners because there's a lot out there that absolutely love this game. And there's so many more. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. We're talking about the Monopoly game, the mobile Monopoly Go game that you can download on the App Store or Google Play. You can explore hundreds of Monopoly boards from Las Vegas to Camelot to the moon, all while raking in a huge fortune. Charge rent on iconic properties just like the classic game. You can charge your friends rent on those iconic properties or go after their money. Pull off some bank heists, take a wrecking ball to their landmarks. But my favorite part of the game is the leaderboards, where you can see who's a Monopoly tycoon and who's gone bankrupt. So go get yourself on the charts today. Download Monopoly Go now free on the App Store and Google Play. You've been listening to Fox Sports, ESPN on your TV all day. You're constantly having to mute it, turn it down. What dumb thing did Stephen A. Smith say now? Well, save yourself all that trouble and headache and turn on Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Coming up this week on the podcast, I'm hoping to talk to the host of Locked On Red Sox to preview that 2-game series and talk about Vaughn Grissom, our old friend, who's finally back. Should see him this week. Should be a lot of fun there. And then obviously we got the Mets going to the Mets over the weekend. We'll have a mailbag podcast later in the week. I'll take you around the league. Probably going to talk more about this offense as well, or lack thereof, later this week on the podcast. Let's get into our Minors Monday segment. Let's start with our top prospects. AJ Smith-Shawver, his best outing of the year. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 5 strikeouts. So that's great to see. He is getting better every start. So is Hurston and Waldrep, who threw 5 2/3 innings this past week, allowed just 4 hits, only 1 walk. Love to see that from him. No earned runs and 5 strikeouts as well. And he's basically been pitching with one hand tied behind his back, as the Braves are really wanting him to focus on the fastball and slider command. And again, that's why I love seeing just that 1 walk up there for Hurston and Waldrep. So both of those guys doing much better. Spencer Schwellenbach, 5 innings, 7 strikeouts. We're finally starting to see the strikeouts from Spencer Schwellenbach, but at what price? Because he's been giving up more runs here lately. 5 hits, 2 walks, and 4 earned runs given up for Spencer Schwellenbach this past week. Owen Murphy, I watched a good bit of this outing this past week. 5 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 4 walks, but just 2 earned runs. He gave up a home run and only 4 strikeouts. But again, I watched that game. The strike zone was very, very tight. I thought there were several pitches that could have been strikes that weren't called. And that's why you see the high walk number, the low strikeout total. But again, I was impressed to see him almost get through 6 innings, only give up 2 earned runs. So again, it wasn't the brilliant outing we've seen from him the rest of the season, but I was impressed with what I saw from Owen Murphy and able to grind that one out despite maybe some calls not going his way and it being a little bit of a tighter strike zone. Ignacio Alvarez, 5 hits and 21 at bats this past week, but 2 doubles. Want to see the home runs, but glad to see some extra base hits in there. 5 walks to 4 strikeouts, still getting on base a ton, and that good eye at the plate, and 3 stolen bases, showing off some of that speed. Again, he's somebody you look at him, you don't generally think it's going to be somebody who's pretty quick, but able to play a good shortstop, showing some wheels on the base pass as well, is Nacho Alvarez. Cade Keeler, another, back-to-back, not very good starts for Cade Keeler after a hot start. 4 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 walks, 3 earned, 4 strikeouts. Drew Hackenberg coming off just a disastrous couple of outings last week. He looked really good this past week. 6 innings, just 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned, and 5 strikeouts. So those are your top prospects. We'll go to each level now. In Gwinnett, Yuli Gurriel, 7 for 19, all of them singles, only 1 run scored and 1 RBI. I don't know how that is possible. No walks either, but hey, 7 for 19, you'll take that. Alejo Lopez, 7 for 20, but he did something with those 7 hits, a double, a home run, 3 walks, and 3 stolen bases. JP Martinez continues to have a really good start to his season, 7 for 19, a double, 2 walks, and a stolen base. Andrew Velasquez, 7 for 17 with a home run and 2 stolen bases. And Forrest Wall showing some power, 2 home runs, 3 walks, and a stolen base this past week. On the pitching side of Gwinnett, Grant Holmes, another good season. Had a great season at Gwinnett last year. He's having a good season to begin 2024. 3 2/3 innings this past week, just 1 hit allowed, no walks, no earned runs. Did hit a batter, but 5 strikeouts and 1 save. Taylor Widener, 3 scoreless innings, no hits, 2 walks, no earned, and 5 strikeouts. And then Darius Vines, 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 walk, 3 earned runs, gave up a couple of home runs, and 4 strikeouts. I feel like that's a very Darius Vines outing right there. Moving down to Mississippi, Yolbert Sanchez was 7 for 16 with a double and a home run. Brandon Parker, 4 for 11 with 3 doubles and a home run. So 4 hits and just 11 at-bats. All of them went for extra bases. Good week for Brandon Parker. Luis Diavila, 2 starts this past week, 12 2/3 innings, gave up 12 hits and 3 walks, but just 4 earned runs and 10 strikeouts. Ian Mejia, off to a fantastic start this year. This past week, 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, did hit a batter, but no earned runs and 7 strikeouts. The 24-year-old's an 11th round pick out of New Mexico State in 2022. He's started 6 games this year, 30 innings, a 2.40 ERA, 1.10 whip, and 34 strikeouts. So perhaps the Braves have found another one there, maybe of the Dylan Dodd variety, as a smaller school, kind of not thought much of, but throwing really well. And again, I know Dylan Dodd hasn't necessarily worked out, but could be another solid back of the rotation arm there. And you'll take as many of those as you can get, especially at that point in the draft. Drew Parrish has had some good starts this year as well, and had another one this past week. 6 innings, 4 hits, no walks, 2 earned, gave a home run, 6 strikeouts. And then Roldy Munoz getting called up to Double-A, 1 inning, 1 walk, no earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and his first Double-A outing. And his brother off to a fantastic start with the Marlins so far this year. He's obviously a former Brave as well. Down at Rome, you may want to keep an eye on EJ Exposito. I watched him in the game. I was watching Owen Murphy. Looks like a very physical, gifted athlete. He was 11 for 23 this past week. He is the Braves player of the week by far at any level. 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 2 walks, 5 stolen bases. 16th round pick out of Long Island in 2022. Played in 18 games this year, 65 at bats, so still very, very early. But he's slashing 277, 351, 631. That's a 982 OPS, 5 doubles, 6 homers, 8 walks to 21 strikeouts. Not great, but 8 stolen bases and hasn't been caught stealing. So keep an eye out on EJ Exposito. Might be a bit of a breakout year for him. Ethan Workinger's been solid all year as well. 7 for 24 this past week with a double, 3 walks. Ambioris Tavares had a couple of doubles, had a triple as well, but 12 strikeouts, still striking out way too much. On the pitching side, Landon Harper, 2 games, 5 innings, 4 hits, no walks, 1 earned on a solo homer, and 10 strikeouts in those 5 innings. Lucas Braun, shout out to Jeffrey Humphreys, who'll be excited about this one. 6 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no walks, 1 earned on a solo home run as well. Did hit a batter, but struck out 7. And then Giancarlos Lara, my breakout prospect pick for 2024. He made his debut at Rome, 3 innings, 1 hit, did walk 3 and hit a batter, but obviously a little rusty, his first start of the year, but still didn't give up a run, left the bases loaded with a big strikeout 1 inning, and had 5 strikeouts in total over those 3 innings. Samuel Strickland, 2 games, 2 2/3 innings, no hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 6 strikeouts, had a good week as well. And then at Augusta, not a lot to talk about here, but Jace Grady was 7 for 15 with a homer and 3 walks. Drew Compton continues to get the hits, 5 for 19, a double, a homer, 4 walks, and a stolen base. Not sure when he's going to get called up, but he's probably ready for that if Rome has room for him. And then Adam Meyer, I know he had a rough start last week, but 5 innings, 2 hits, no walks, no earned, 6 strikeouts. Very good to see. Been very encouraged by the fact that he hasn't pitched in a long time. You'd think there'd be some rust there, some command issues, but he's not really racking up the walks so far. So good to see that for Adam Meyer. And then the Florida Complex League opened up this past Saturday. He played just 1 game so far, but really interesting names on this roster. Mario Baez on there. He went 1 for 3 with a walk and a stolen base in their first game. Jose Perdomo is expected to be on this roster, along with Luis Guanipa, who are probably top 10 prospects in the Braves system. That infield of Baez likely at second, Perdomo at shortstop, John Gill, another really interesting prospect at third base. Should be a lot of fun to watch, not to mention the outfield with Guanipa, Douglas Glad, and Jair Casanova had a pretty good year for Augusta last season. So that FCL team is going to be really interesting to watch. I'll start updating you on how those players are doing, but we're beginning to see some of those international signees coming up for the Braves, making some noise, hopefully having some good season. So I can't wait to see what those guys do. All right, next we're turning the page from what happened in LA. We're moving forward. We're coming back home, at least for 2 games before going back out on the road. We'll talk about this upcoming series with the Red Sox and also catch you up on the news with Pierce Johnson, Sean Murphy, and a little bit of trade the Braves made to add some bullpen depth. We'll discuss all of that here next. Today's episode is sponsored by Yahoo Finance. Wouldn't it be great if you could see all of your investment and retirement accounts in one place? With Yahoo Finance, you can consolidate your views from multiple accounts into one hub and access the expert analysis you need to tend to your entire portfolio with confidence. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. Securely link your brokerage accounts for a unified view of your wealth, including 401k and other investments. A comprehensive perspective is what sets apart great investors, and it's how Yahoo Finance ensures you have the right insight to look at your wealth in its entirety. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor. That's yahoofinance.com, the #1 financial destination, yahoofinance.com. Again, that's yahoofinance.com. Did have a good bit of news to discuss over the weekend. The bad news, Pierce Johnson goes on the IL with right elbow inflammation. However, it sounds like shouldn't be anything serious. He could be back shortly after the 15-day stint there on the injured list, but certainly a bummer for the Braves bullpen, who may need Aaron Bummer to step up. I'm sure this won't be the last time we use an Aaron Bummer pun this year. I'll stop there before I twist my words up anymore. I did want to just briefly discuss, though. They brought up Jackson Stephens and a corresponding move, obviously, with putting Pierce Johnson on the injured list. I thought maybe they could call up Ken Giles. He seems like the obvious replacement for Pierce Johnson. He had just pitched back-to-back games before the move happened. So perhaps the Braves thinking they needed somebody to give them some innings like a Jackson Stephens, which they did need him on Saturday because Bryce Elder didn't go very long in that game, and it was a blowout. And the fact that if they don't think Pierce Johnson's going to be on the injured list very long, don't want to risk bringing up Giles for a week or two, then having to DFA him, possibly lose him. So I'm assuming that is the reasoning why they went with Jackson over somebody like Ken Giles, who's pitched very well at Gwinnett. Sean Murphy was able to hit off the tee, and it felt great. My words, not his, but could see him ramp things up this week. And if he doesn't have any setbacks, could see him maybe work his way back in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Don't really want to put a timetable on it, but certainly great to see him swinging a bat, because with that injury, that's really the big step. And you don't want to take a hard cut with the bat unless you feel pretty comfortable and confident that you are healed up. So that's great to hear for Sean Murphy. Braves traded for reliever Jimmy Herget from the Angels for cash. Herget was optioned to AAA for the Braves, where he will provide a bullpen depth. He has a career 3.47 ERA and 1.164 whip. He had a 2.48 ERA and a 0.913 whip in 2022 with the Angels in 69 innings with 63 strikeouts. So not a big strikeout guy. Has a little bit of a funky delivery, and he's held righties to just a 659 OPS and 383 slugging percentage in his career. In his first outing with Gwinnett this year, he struck out the side. So good to see that from Jimmy Herget, giving the Braves some more bullpen depth, which you can never have enough of. Now, coming up on the schedule, got 2 off days this week, Monday and Thursday. 2-game series with the Red Sox at home. The Red Sox have the best ERA in baseball, and that's not what you want to hear right now with the way the Braves offense is going. Pitching matchups for that series right now, you're going to have Cutter Crawford and his 1.56 ERA going up against Ronaldo Lopez and his 1.50 ERA on Tuesday. So that should be an interesting matchup. Not sure who the Red Sox are throwing on Wednesday at this point, but they'll be opposing Chris Sale. So again, got Lopez and Sale, 2-game series against the Red Sox. Hopefully a good chance for the Braves to pick up a couple of wins if they can get their offense going. The schedule doesn't really slow down for the Braves. You got the Red Sox, who are 19-6 with the best ERA in baseball, as I mentioned. The Mets had been playing better, but they were 3-7 in their last 10. They did just call up their top pitching prospect and one of the best pitching prospects in baseball, who had a really good game on Saturday. So the Mets, starting to look maybe a little bit of a dangerous team. The Cubs are tied with the Brewers for first place in the NL Central after taking 2 of 3 from them this past weekend. The Padres are just a game under 500 and just traded for Luis Arraez to help their offense out, which was already pretty good. The Pirates have cooled off, but the Nats are 500, and the A's are just 1 game under 500 and one of the hottest teams in baseball. So that's the schedule the rest of the month. Look, these are teams the Braves should beat, and there are teams that the Braves are better than, but not the version of the Braves we're seeing right now. So they got to wake up quickly if they're going to turn this thing around in May, which hasn't been a great month for them in the past. Generally, it's June when they start to turn things around and turn things up. But got to salvage this month of May. Got to find a way to get through it because the schedule is not particularly easy for them. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and it's now available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. So make sure you check that out today. Again, hoping to have a crossover episode with Locked On Red Sox this week. I'll take you around the league, have our mailbag podcast, and we'll probably do another deep dive and focus on this Braves offense unless they just go bananas and the 2 games against the Red Sox, and hopefully that is the case. But that will do it with this episode of a Locked On Braves. Thanks so much for making it to the end here with me. If you made it to the end, let me know who your favorite Braves player is, and thank you so much for making it all the way through. Thank you for all your support here at Locked On Braves. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe or follow us on social media at shortstopball, at @LockedOn_Braves. Make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast, wherever you get your podcast, and we will talk to you next time.